Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Today, we are at Zandvoort for Division 1, Round 9 here in Season 3 of the Divine Eye Racing World Championship. And the first car out of the garage will be Cutthroat in the McLaren. Up to the line for Cutthroat. This will be the first flying lap of the session. It's a 1 minute 10.5, so not a bad benchmark for the Dutch driver. Next up to the line is Servoyer, and he's 2 seconds down. So, and Touchy goes quickest, 1 minute 10.2. Jay Dennis now, P2, 1 minute 10.2. Marios up to P3. Shermaner up to P5. The steps now. Pole position, 1 minute 9.9. So the first driver into the 1 minute 9s. Next to cross the line will be Divine. He has a purple sector 2. According to the mini-map. Let's see what he can do now. Approaching the penultimate corner. Fourth gear looks pretty neat and tidy. Open DRS. Now over the banked corner of the car, bouncing around over the bumps, up to the line now for Divine. It's a 1 minute 10.8. That puts him in P7. Sparrow, P7, 1 minute 10.8. And Servoyer puts in another lap, which was good enough for pole, 1 minute 9.4. That's half a second up on the rest of the field. I'm not sure if this is a glitch with this purple middle sector, but apparently Naismith has just put one in. Here we go now. He's going through the final corner. DRS wide open, up to the line now. It's P6, so the 1 minute 10.4. Apart from the top two, the rest of the field, from Touchkey down to Divine, is very, very close, which is good to see. Paddy goes to P2, 1 minute 9.7. That's a very good lap from the Irishman. And I don't think anyone else is on laps. So, why won't it let me... Oh, that was weird. It wouldn't let me switch to Marios for some reason. But, anyways, since nobody else is on a lap, this is a perfect time to take a look at the standings for D1. As Lopo Tiggy has DNF'd, I'm not sure if that was in the... It looks like it was in the pits. So that's interesting. I'm not sure why he is retired. So looking at the Constructors' Championship, after last week's race at Silverstone, Aston Martin remain in the lead, but their lead at the top has been cut down. Their tally currently is 305 points. Second place Mercedes has 290 points, so only 15 points back. A good performance from Paddy and Haaland today can slingshot the Silver Arrows into the top spot. And in third place we have Red Bull with 226, and fourth place Haas only 4 points behind with 222. Now switching to the driver standings, in P1 we have Servoyer with 201 points. In P2 we have Paddy with 144 points. Oh, big crash by Cutthroat. I just looked up for a second. I'm not sure what happened there, but he tapped the wall, and then he lost a part of his wing, and it looked like he wasn't able to slow it down, and hit the wall again here. So he is able to keep it going, but he will have to box and change that front wing. Servoyer P1, 201 points. Paddy P2, 144 points. So Servoyer has quite a healthy lead, it must be said. And he might even be able to clinch the championship today. I will have to double check that. But how many races are left? 4. And we have a sprint race at the finale. So Servoyer, if he wins, he gets, I think it's 35. No, it's 30. No penalties would be an extra point, and then fast lap would be an extra point. So let's say he gets maximum points, 32. And let's say Paddy gets whatever the next maximum is, 26, I want to say. So that's what? That's 6-point gain. So let's say, what's the difference? He'd have a 63-point lead. No, that's not enough. So, he can't clinch today. I mean, if Paddy, the Steps, and Yuri all DNF, then maybe he clinches. I'm not exactly sure, but Um, that's a very unlikely scenario. So chances are, Cervoyer will have to win a couple more races before he can put two hands on that drivers' championship trophy. But right now, there is definitely one of Cervoyer's hands on it. And in third place in the drivers' championship, we have the Steps with 135. Fourth place, Yuri, not too far behind with 128. So, for those of you who aren't aware, I was actually just made aware of this a few minutes ago. But Haaland is now a full-time driver, and after only two races, he's already got 75 points. So I don't think he's gonna have enough races to catch up to Cervoyer, but he can definitely play a huge role in that constructors championship with Mercedes, who, as we said before, are only 15 points back of Aston Martin. So just receiving intel that Haaland is purposely going to start last place, so he will not head out of the garage for qualifying. He's going to attempt a last to first, which he did do last week in the feature race at Silverstone. We already have some predictions. Was that rain? It is. Some small drops are now falling onto the track as Paddy sets the fastest lap. This could be trouble for Cervoyer. If the track conditions are getting worse, he could be in trouble here. He's got to put a lap better than a 1 minute 9.367. I think if the rain continues, then this is going to be it for qualifying, and all the drivers better start getting their laps in now before it's too late. And Cervoyer out of fuel? He's going full power, but he's going very slowly for some reason, so he must be out of fuel. And that might just see Paddy to pole position. Yuri's on a lap, but he's 10th down. Tutschke's on a lap as well. So there's definitely rain. The question we should be asking is, how much is it impacting the track conditions? It seems to be getting worse as well. Tutschke is up on his time, though. He's 2.5 hundredths up on his time. That's not enough to gain any places, but it does show that track conditions aren't getting particularly worse as he's coming into the pits. Probably was down on his time. Marios DNFs retires. Now the only car on the track is Yuri, and he didn't improve. Everyone's retiring, so I think that's your answer. I think the rain is worsening the track conditions, and therefore no one is able to improve. So a real-life example of this would be Brazil in 2023, I want to say. I might be wrong on that. It might be 2022. I think it was. But it was Kevin Magnussen who got pole because he was one of the only drivers to set a lap time when the track was dry. Rain started to fall while all the other drivers were getting out onto the track, and they couldn't beat his time because of the rain. So I think that was 2022, now that I think about it. I'm going to fact check that really quick. It must have been. I don't think it was only last year. At the 2022 Sao Paulo Grand Prix. So it was 2022. Yeah, it's a very similar scenario to what we're seeing right now. I think if everyone retires, we can just get on with this and start the race. But there are Sherman here still on the track, so he thinks he can improve. Yeah, he's 7/10 down. So the track is obviously wet, and it is not at optimal conditions as Shermanator slides off the track in the middle sector. So yeah, I think I think everyone should just retire so we can start the race a little bit quicker. But um, I don't know. Maybe they see something that we don't. Maybe the rain is supposed to stop and they could potentially get another run in um, at the last couple minutes. And I'm not sure what the point of this is, but Divine is on the track on the intermediate tire, so maybe the race is going to be wet and he's getting some practice laps in. That's not a bad strategy. Um, but he definitely won't be going quicker in these conditions and on those tires. Yeah, so it looks like everyone's retiring. We if that happens, we could save a couple minutes. So yeah, not the most eventful qualifying. So there we have it then. Patty on pole as the rain started to fall, 1 minute 9.367. Servilier barely misses out, 14 thousandths behind. Next are the steps: Yuri, Tuts, J. Dennis, Marios, Naismith, Cutthroat, Mihu, Sherman Air, Divine, Sparrow, James, Lopatikachi, and Holland. Yeah, so just waiting for the drivers to get their setups in and their strategies, and then we can start this race. If anyone watching plays Gran Turismo and would be interested in joining our Gran Turismo division, feel free to DM me SBC33 on Discord, SBC underscore 33, all lowercase, and we can get you in the division. We started a couple weeks ago, and we're slowly getting to grips with things. I think now we have a good core group of drivers. We have a good idea of how we're going to run the division, and the season looks like it's going to have some great racing. So here we go then. Formation lap has begun. Let's take a look at the tires. So Haaland is the only driver starting on the hards. So he's only he's gonna try to go long, and then maybe switch to softs later on. We have 4 soft runners: Divine, Sparrow, James, and Cutthroat. So they're probably gonna do the opposite, gain as many places as they can at the start of the race, and then potentially benefit from a safety car, or just switch to the hards and go long. And as for the medium runners, they probably have the most options. They can either switch to hards at an early safety car, or they can take these tires long and go to softs for the end. So I really don't know what the best strategy is going to be, but it seems like most of the drivers are going to use mediums at some point during the race. So maybe the medium tire was the right call. Well, only time will tell. So there you have the possible race strategies: soft, medium, or soft, hard. So it doesn't look like a medium hard or a hard medium is the way to go, though, which was pretty common on other tracks and on previous F1 games. So anyways, we are all set here, and we prepare for the lights to go out. Five red lights. We're racing in Zandvoort. Servoye gets a beautiful start off the line. He's already up into the lead. The steps is a good look on Paddy too. He goes down the inside into turn 1. He has the inside line. Who's going to come out in front? It looks like the steps has gotten the move done. Paddy loses 2 positions at the start of this race. That is not the start he would have wanted. Oh, we have Cutthroat getting racy, using those soft tires to his advantage. Gets the better exit and passes the Williams of Marios. Going further down the order, everything looks neat and tidy. James and Sparrow both losing 2 places, down to P15 and 16. Oh, what's happened with Paddy? Paddy makes a mistake in the middle sector, and what was a beautiful qualifying for him has turned into disaster here on lap 1. He's down into P12. Cutthroat is on an absolute tear as well. 3 positions gained on those soft tires, and he's all over the back of Jay Dennis in the Haas as well. Oh! It looked like there was contact there between the Mercedes and the Williams, but Paddy gets by. Haaland is going to go down the inside. That was a nice pass, clean and tidy, into turn 1, and the Mercedes are fighting their way back to the top of the field. After lap 1, you're biggest gainer is Lopo Tikichi in the Ferrari. 5 positions gained after retiring from quali. And your biggest faller, your biggest tumbler is Paddy after that lap 1 incident. He goes from pole down to P11, 10 positions lost. We're going to ride on board with Naismith, who appears to be close to Marios. He is fighting with Aston Martin for that Constructors' Championship. Only 15 points separate them and the Mercedes, and currently the Aston Martins have the upper hand. So let's see what Naismith can do here, if he can carry this momentum for the green cars. He's got DRS, so does Marios. Burning his battery. Looks like he's got some good overspeed. He's in the slipstream. But as he turns off his battery, Marios is able to pull away a little bit. So maybe Naismith should save up some battery and then launch another attack later on. Got some close racing in the midfield here as well. Touchkey, Jay Dennis, and Cutthroat, all very close to each other. Cutthroat's just flying on these soft tires. He's really putting pressure on these medium compound runners. I don't know if that was a mistake from Jay Dennis, but Cutthroat got really close there and is fighting the car on the exit. Shermanator going down the order. Must have made a mistake there. Keeps it on the track and only loses a couple places. So every driver apart from Divine is still within a second of the car ahead, which is always good to see. We want to see close racing. We want to see good battling. Naismith's getting close, but still unable to launch a proper attack at the Williams. And the steps is all over Cervelier as well. That was a great exit from the steps. Just all over the back of him, but he just can't do anything through these corners. They're too fast and too narrow, and there's too much at stake. So he will wait for a better opportunity, potentially at this coming DRS zone. We'll see how close he is. Touchkey's going down the order. What's happened to Touch? Oh, he's hit the wall in Sector 2. The bad luck in Season 3 continues for Touch. I'm not sure if that was a spin or if he made contact with someone else, but the Dutch driver is now plumb last. Yuri, right on the gearbox of the man from Czechia in the steps. And Steps actually did a great job defending his position there. It almost took the lead, but he keeps Yuri behind, so the front will stay the same, stay in the previous order. We've got less than 2/10 between all three of these drivers. What an exit from Yuri. Where did that speed come from? What a move from the Red Bull driver around the outside, and he's up at the P2. Amazing stuff. Good day from Haas so far. P3 and P4 as it stands. Cutthroat still fighting the car. I would think it's a bit early for those tires to be going off, but he's been racing rather aggressively in the past couple laps, so maybe it's time for him to start thinking about a pit stop. I would assume from this stage in the race, a medium is a bit too far to the end, but a hard should definitely get him there. We've got Sparrow only a couple tenths behind Naismith, who actually has gotten overtaken by Paddy, and Haaland is up in the P7 as well, so we've missed that. The Mercedes continue to make up ground. And Yuri is getting close to Cervelier. He almost overtook him where he overtook the steps last lap. So Yuri looking very racy in the opening stages of this Grand Prix. I think he's looking good for the win. He's got some good pace. He's cool, calm, collected, and it's been a good start for him. I think if you want to see some overtakes, I think this is the man we need to pay attention to. Haaland won the past race in Silverstone, last to first. He won the sprint and the race, actually. And he's attempting another last to first here in Zandvoort. Yuri, is this going to be... Oh, is this going to be it? He makes contact with Cervoyer, but he's able to get the move done down the inside to turn one, and the Red Bull driver is up into the lead. And Haaland did get past Lopetegui. We missed that. But, oh, that would have been a lovely move if Jay Dennis could have pulled that off. But keeps it behind his teammate. Maybe we'll see some team orders here if one of these drivers are quicker than the other. Cutthroat is still hanging in. He's been a little bit quiet over the past couple laps, but he's still knocking on that door, and he's looking for an opportunity to get by. Haaland is the next car behind him. He's gaining on him despite being on the hard compound tires, so if I was the front runners, I'd be scared of this guy. It's already it's only lap 7, I should say, and he's already made it up into P6 on that hard compound. Cervoyer has a look, but Yuri isn't fazed by it. And the top 3 remain in the same order. From Yuri all the way down to Patty, we still have all those drivers within DRS of each other, which is great to see. Anything can happen, really. So as I was saying, if you want to see some overtakes, this is who you want to be watching. Are we going to have a switch up at the front? We are. Cervoyer is going to get the move done, and crazy overspeed from the steps as well. Oh, and they make contact, the steps and Yuri, but the steps is able to get it done cleanly. Haaland wasn't able to get the move done on Cutthroat, though. Haaland has a look down the inside. That could have been dangerous. Oh, who's that? It's Jay Dennis. Jay Dennis goes off the road. And after what was a brilliant start from the Haas team, has turned to disaster. Here we go then, Haaland looking to go down the inside of Cutthroat. Oh, they make contact. From the angle that I saw that from, it looked like Cutthroat was trying to defend just a little bit too hard. And I think that's a racing incident, but maybe the stewards will have a look, and Lopetegui coming out of nowhere gets past the Mercedes. Great move from him. And he's all over the back of the steps as well. Who's now almost out of DRS from the top two. So this could be pivotal in whoever wins this race. And he is out of DRS, so this could be shaping up the fight for the lead of this race. It's between these two now. Survival of the fittest. Servoyer and Yuri. Alain going down the inside. Nice and easy, and he's up into the podium places. Jay Dennis losing places again. He's off again, and this time he doesn't have a front wing. Things go from bad to worse for Jay Dennis here on lap 11. So apart from these two, who purposely started from the back, Sparrow, Divine, James, they lost positions to touch as well. Okay, so Sparrow has gained 2 legit positions, and so has Yuri. And James is the first driver in the pits. I believe he started on the softs. He did. Let's see what tires he goes to. Mediums for Jay Dennis. Or, sorry, James, my fault. And Jay Dennis gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That has to hurt. And he switched to the hard tires because he doesn't have another option. He has to change that front wing. And the softs aren't making it to the end of this race. So hard tires it is for the Haas driver. Touchkey goes for a move into turn 1. Locks up. And as he comes back onto the racing line, has a little contact moment with the Alpine of Shermanator. I'm not sure whose fault that was, but we will continue, and the stewards may have a look at that. We'll let them deal with it. Alain tries to go down the outside. Beautiful defending from Yuri, but he goes for the switchback. What a move from the Mercedes driver, putting on a show for us in the comms box. Round the outside, who's got the better exit? It looks like Yuri took advantage of the tires. I think Alain also put a wheel on the curb on exit, which didn't help his speed. But we're getting a great battle between the top 3 here. And even Lopo Tikachi is threatening down in P4. Let's see, does Alain have the overspeed? Does he go for it here? He decides not to. Lopo Tikachi late on the brakes. Almost runs into the Mercedes. That's a lovely camera shot. I wish they could keep it like that the entire race. Oh. Paddy fakes a move into the pits. Tikachi is all over Holland. I think this is time when the mediums start to drop off a bit, so Holland's tires will probably be better than those around him at this stage. But the top 2 are doing a great job defending from him, so I think this is going to come down to strategy. We are getting to that time. We are getting to the pit window. So, let's see who pulls the trigger first. Who makes the first pit stop? It could benefit them, or it could drastically ruin their race. With 6 drivers all within DRS of each other, strategy is key. What a defending move from Yuri. That's brilliant stuff. He almost gets a position on Cervoyer as well, but he is doing a phenomenal job defending from Haaland, it must be said. The Mercedes driver just itching to get by, but Yuri won't let him through, defending like a lion. So we're nearing the halfway point in this race. The medium runners are probably going to switch to softs, which means they won't make a pit stop for another 5 laps or so at least. And why have we only got 5? What's happened? What's happened to Lopetegui? He's made a mistake. And Haaland finally gets past the Red Bull. The steps and Yuri going side by side. Slight contact, but they keep it clean. And the Mercedes driver is now up into second place. Cervoyer into the pits. Lopetegui DNFs in the pits, though. Cervoyer switched to the hard tires. So maybe medium hard is the strategy that these drivers are running today. But he has timed that pit stop beautifully. Because apart from... Actually, I can't say what I was about to say something, but it's not entirely true. So he timed that pit stop beautifully because he's got 4 seconds in front of him to the next car, which is Divine. So he can push to the absolute limit and make good use of those fresh tires to undercut his rivals. And what's happened here? Yuri has gone off. Must have been contact with some of the other drivers. Shermanator DNFs in the pits. And Haaland is into the lead and already has a 1.5 second gap. What did we miss up here? Paddy tries to go around the outside. Good defending from the steps. Yuri is into the pits. Sparrow and Divine also in the pits. So, where's Yuri? So just a couple laps ago, Yuri was fighting Cervoyer for the lead of the race. And now you can see how far back is he? He's about 4 seconds behind the Aston Martin now. And he's also got 2 other cars to get through before he can get to Cervoyer. So that is the power of the undercut. And if I was the steps and Paddy, I would be boxing right now. Actually, Yuri might have had to change a front wing. But still, the undercut is extremely powerful. And if these drivers don't make a pit stop soon, they're going to lose out massively. So let's see if they dive into the pits. None of them do, and Paddy makes use of the DRS to get up into second place. It's a Mercedes 1-2. The tables have turned, ladies and gentlemen. Cervoyer's already caught up to Cutthroat in the McLaren. So now that Villiers has to deal with... Actually, no. I was going to say something else, but that's not really true either, because Cutthroat's got a big gap in front of him, so as soon as Cervier clears his McLaren, he's got free air in front of him to lap as quickly as he can and try to close the gap to the drivers in the lead. Now the problem with Halan's strategy is, assuming a safety car doesn't come out, he is going to have a huge amount of time to make up to these drivers on his fresh tires. So let's assume he goes to softs. Or let's assume he makes his stop in the next 5 laps or so. Cervier is currently 18-ish, let's just say 20. He's 20 seconds behind. A pit stop is what? Around 25 seconds. So if Halan was to make a stop right now, we're going to ballpark that Cervier will be ahead of him by about 5 seconds. So on fresh softs against old hards, that's definitely doable. But as time goes on, and as Cervier continues to close the gap on his fresher tires, that gap that Halan needs to make up increases. So he's either got to be pushing like mad, or he's got to make a pit stop soon, because his strategy could be flawed. Only time will tell. Paddy swapping places with the steps once again. He's now up into P2, and everyone else is officially on their own on the track. So this is the only real battle we have going on at the moment. And Paddy dives into the pits. So Paddy was closer to the back of the DRS train before all the pit stops, but let's see how far behind Cervier he comes out. He's probably going to end up behind Yuri as well. It's going to be close, but I don't think Yuri's going to get him. Yuri's going to come out just behind Paddy. So, don't forget, Yuri did make a mistake just before his pit stop, which lost him time. So, he was about 4 or 5 seconds behind Paddy when he made his pit stop. So the undercut is working. Cervier still has a pretty big gap ahead of him. Let's take a look at the tires. So the top 3 are yet to pit. Everyone else, apart from Cutthroat, should be able, actually 14 more laps, which would be what, 24 laps, I mean. I guess it's possible, but it's going to be hard for sure. So probably everyone except for the top 3 can potentially go to the end on these tires. He was the first driver to pick up a track limit penalty here. He's currently in P11. What's the fastest lap of the race? Paddy, 1 minute 12.1. Oh, and Paddy is already on the back of Cervier. So, I mean, his tires are going to be done by the end, but this is why I was confused at why Cervoyer went to hards instead of softs, because um, clearly you can see how much better the softs are. Patty's only been on those for one lap, and he's already gotten up to the Aston Martin and almost got past just then. So an interesting call from Cervoyer here, and I'm not sure it's going to work out the way he had hoped for. So Patty's going to use his battery, use DRS, pull out of the slipstream, and take second place. So the top three have pitted. Halanas came out of the pits in the lead. So I was wrong. His strategy was not flawed. He's on fresh tires. He's in the lead. And it's looking like it's going to be a Mercedes 1-2. After starting on pole and falling down to like P11 or something. And we have a safety car. Oh my goodness, what has happened? Who's going to come out in front? Cutthroat has crashed in the middle sector, and that has brought out a VSC. If it was a full safety car, it would have been more impactful. So this isn't a huge deal. But still, drama on lap 23. As I was saying, after starting the race on pole and being down in like P11 or P12 or something after the first lap, Patty has fought all the way back up to P2, and he is second in the Drivers' Championship, so it would be, I don't know, it might make more sense for Halan to give up that position, but at the end of the day, I think the Constructors' Championship is way more attainable, so if they are focusing on that, then they're definitely in a good place right now. Going into this race, only 15 points back. The way it's going right now, they're going to take the lead of the Constructors' Championship after today. Oh, and we've just, I think he put it in the YouTube comments as well, but Lopo Tikachi has broken his rig. So I'm not sure how that's happened. But he's broken his pedal. So very interesting stuff. I hope he doesn't end up missing races because of that. But that is definitely not ideal from the Ferrari driver. So this race has absolutely flown by. We are in the final stages of the race now, the final third, lap 25 of 36. And right now we are watching the only battle happening on the track right now between Yuri and the Steps. So the Steps on the fresh softs, it's going to use those tires and maximize them, get up into P4. Mihu's got to jump on Divine. He's on fresh softs. Divine is on older mediums. Didn't have speed just yet. He was a little bit too far back at the start of that straight, but he's going to continue to push his way through and get closer and closer to the Ferrari. He does have that penalty, so if he does make a move, he's going to have to build up that gap. Devine goes very wide. That will definitely lose him some time. Is he missing an end plate? Could swear he was missing an end plate on the left side. Oh no, I was seeing something. Front wing is all good for Devine. So 3/10 back on this particular occasion, and this should be an easy pass for the Williams driver. Mihu up into P8, but he still has that 3-second penalty he needs to make up for. And Chevalier is the steps next victim. So I think the strategy call has cost Chevalier royally here. Overtaken by Patty. About to be overtaken by the steps. And I think if Yuri was on the fresh softs as well, he would have definitely gotten past. So something to learn from, maybe, from the Aston Martin driver, but it's unfortunate for him because he was great in qualifying. He was in control of the race, and then I don't know, maybe he thought that the hards were the optimal strategy, and clearly the medium soft was the way to go. Very difficult for the drivers to make up their minds on a strategy, especially in the heat of the moment during a race. You know, you're going based off of certain situations, and you're using past experience as advice. Every scenario is different, and they're full of adrenaline, so they're not as calm as we are watching this race. They can't see everything that we see. They don't know everything that we know, and it's tough for them to make the right call. So the soft runners made the right call today. The hard runners, unfortunately for them, lost out a little bit. But I think if Servilier continues to place in the top 5 the next few races until the end of the season, he should take that championship trophy home. So Cervelier is still hanging in DRS despite the tire difference. Yeah, the soft tires are probably dying now. I still think they're better than 15 lap old hards, but yeah, I'm sure the soft runners are definitely starting to feel it. So, but I say that bad strategy, whatever, for Cervelier. But Halan did the exact same thing, just the opposite. He started on the hards, and then he boxed for mediums. When he came out of the pits, he was in the lead. So that must just be insane pace that the Belgian driver had. Um, he was able to utilize, and it probably wouldn't have mattered what strategy he was on. He driven beautifully so far, last to first, and still probably has lots of life left in those 9 lap old mediums. But Cervelier is still holding on here, only 6 tenths between him and the steps. Yeah, Lawson, I think that's DJ Lawson from Tier 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, yeah, the by the last 2 or 3 laps, the hards will probably become the better tire. They'll probably be in better condition. 16 lap old hards, it seems bad. It probably isn't terrible. If I have to guess, I think he's got about 30-40% wear, whereas the steps is probably pushing 60. So Chevalier's sticking with him, and I think in the next couple laps he's going to continue to save his battery. He's going to continue to chip away and get closer. He's got a very good chance to take back this podium place. Just keeping an eye on the battery. Cervelier's got about 20% more than the steps. So now the steps only has 50, and Cervelier is basically full, and he's only 6 tenths back. So I think Cervelier can get him here. I mean, it's only a couple extra points, the difference between P3 and P4, but getting a podium is always special. So I'm sure both drivers will race their hearts out for this final podium place. Oh, you're right. He's on hot lap. I'm not sure if he's aware of that. I'm not sure why he would be running hot lap at this stage of the race with only 25% battery left. It looks like he's struggling, to be honest. Just right on board with him. Only 3 tenths now between him and Cervelier, so Cervelier is in control. Yeah, it just looks a bit uncoordinated. Going deep. Yeah, I noticed that. He's now he's on medium, but yeah, I'm not sure why he would do that. And on here, on lap 35 or starting lap 35, Cervier has gotten past. So I'm not sure if that's down to tires or if that's just Cervier keeping up his pace on these hards. But nonetheless, it was a nice pass. But he will have to keep fighting the steps for this place. He's going to hold on to it for now, but the steps is going to get that DRS down the main straight to start the final lap. Yeah, you can just see it in the steps is driving. Tires are probably not his best friend right now. Chevalier's probably aren't doing great either, but he seems to be under control in that Aston Martin. James is in DRS of Tutschke. Nothing doing there for now. But Cervier's built up big enough of a gap to stay in front of the Haas. So now we start the final lap of this race. And the only remaining opportunity for the steps to get past would be DRS in the middle sector. Or if he is really close to Cervier, coming down the main straight, he might be able to get him there as well, but that is highly unlikely. So they are only 4/10 apart, so this is going to be an exciting finish. I don't think he's close enough to make a move here, even though he's only 3.5 tenths behind. But if he can keep it close to the last couple corners here, he can definitely take third place back. Haaland comes across the line and wins the Dutch Grand Prix. Paddy's coming across the line now in P2. On board with the steps. Is it enough? Up to the line with the Haas and the Aston Martin. And he just misses out 52 thousandths between Cervier and the steps. That was a legendary battle between the two of them. Props to both. Thank you, Lawson. I appreciate it very much. The drivers gave me a great battle to commentate on. Naismith comes home in P7. It was a Mercedes 1-2, but Cervier has minimized the damage with that lap 35 overtake. So Mercedes are definitely taking the lead of the constructors after today. Driver of the day, Haaland, no question. Last to first. Absolutely dominant. I think at this point you might need to start him like a lap down or something, because this is getting out of hand. 3 race wins in a row with the fastest lap all 3 times. He has taken the Div 1 by storm. Bringing glory back to Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow we've got Division 2 action. I believe Thomas will be on comms for that. If not, I should be able to jump in for him. So you guys will have comms tomorrow. Again, if you're interested in Gran Turismo, you can add me on Discord, SBC_33, all lowercase, or if you're in the server, it's me, Mookie. Just give me a shout. There you go. Holland P1 with the fastest lap. Paddy P2, Servilier P3. The steps, Yuri, Marios, Naismith, Mihu, Divine, Tuts, James, Sparrow, Cutthroat, Shermanator, Lopatikachi, and Jay Dennis rounds out the grid. So the GT7 League races Wednesdays at 8 p.m. UK time. It's the same time as the F1 races. This week we have our third race of the season at the Autodromo Lago Maggiore in Italy. Yeah, Ghosted, I'll be on in a couple minutes to practice with you guys for the next race. But to the viewers, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's definitely a step up from last week, that's for sure. And enjoy your evening. Bye bye.